in their yellow and black hoop jerseys, who will attack from left to right as we watch in this first half. So St Helens, they will have the first use of the football after Brad Davis gets this match in progress. Already, John Connolly's ready. He blows the whistle. Davis kicks the football, and the match is underway. And Derek McPhee will run the ball back. First tackle of this semi-final. And look at the way Castleford are storming in, but he managed to release the ball just the same to Sean Long. Long then gives it to his winger, Anthony Stewart. But a great chase from the kick-off by the Castleford Tigers. They are up for this. They know that the pressure is not on them. No team has ever come from 10th in the table to claim a place in the final. And that's the way it shapes up head-to-head in the league. 23 wins apiece, 4 draws from 50 games. But both these sides, when they meet each other, they are dominant on home soil. So Castleford have to go into almost uncharted territory by claiming a victory here at Knowsley Road to get their place at Old Trafford. It's now with Long. He gives it to Hammond, and Hammond drills the ball towards the corner flag, and he finds touch just 2 metres from the corner.
Well, I mentioned the fact that the kicking game will be so important tonight, and that was a superb kick right down into the corner, turning the Castleford defence around. That's what's needed. Very, very strong. You can see Brendan Tutor. I mentioned the fact they call him the baby-faced assassin. 100% at all times. He really does enjoy rough, tough football. Keep your eye out for him.
And Castleford holding the ball in the scrum. And then it's Flowers, the fullback, who was fed by Davis. Good little run from Flowers. He makes it to the 20-metre line. Trundling the ball up and over that line now is Richard McHale, the big prop forward, who arrived at just the right time, really, for Castleford. Lee Crooks having retired.
Bit of an incident off the ball there. The centres, Jason Critchley and Alan Hunt. Get a little bit of a set two behind the play. A lot of nerves out there. Who would have thought Castleford here in a semi-final? A couple of weeks ago, they were struggling for survival to avoid the relegation.
But they're playing with confidence, and as this run from Andrew Schick indicates, he tips the ball back inside, and Mike Ford takes it up. He's 10 metres short, the ball played out wide, and I think they're over the line. I rather fancy that Davis has got the first try of the semi-final. He has. Brad Davis gets Castleford Tigers off to a flying start. The Tigers have taken it to the Saints in the opening minutes.
Beautiful break it was by the second rower, Andrew Schick. Ball out wide, and you can see that he just threw the dummy back on the inside, did well. Brad Davis supported, back on the inside. Ford was always looking again. And good play by Brad Davis. The standoff gets the start that Castleford wanted. But this was the break. See how he just rolled the ball back on the inside. Support player was there. And Davis was always going to be just sniffing, and he gets the 4. They really stretched the Saints' defence there. You could see that Sean Long was running on the angle. Hammond was caught. Beautiful support play. Keep the ball alive. That was the key. What's the best from Alan Hunt? The last attempted tackle.
Well, isn't he enjoying the Premiership? Because Brad Davis has scored in all 3 rounds of this competition. Sean McRae, though, the St Helens coach, had his head in his hands when that try went over the line. And now Davis with this conversion attempt to add the extras to his 4. And Davis gets the ball over the top of the crossbar. Tremendous start for Castleford then. The Tigers lead by 6 points to 0.
You can see how the 2 defenders have moved up, but look at them hanging back. And it was just sufficient for them to go through. You cannot afford to just hang back. You've got to apply the pressure. That allowed the opportunity for Schick to make those valuable meters forward. The final pass from Ford and Davis spinning around. They made a meal of it to try to get it organised to get the defence back into shape, but far too late.
I think we should also mention there the part that Adrian Vowles, the centre, played in that try. And at Castleford there, they switched the point of the attack 3 or 4 times before they eventually plunged over in the corner. Well, a perfect start for the men from Weldon Road, but just too eager, caught offside on the halfway line.
A bit too eager there. There was a couple of players who made no attempt to get back. One of them was Richard McKell, a big prop forward. And they've wasted the opportunity, given the chance now for St Helens to get back into this game.
Well, in many ways, that try from Castleford, just what the doctor ordered in terms of this match as a semi-final, because it will settle Castleford down, and you would expect St Helens, as the home side, to try and strike back immediately. That's what they're doing now. Sullivan is the dummy half. This is Joint. Long ball from Joint to Long, who holds on. He then gets the ball out wide to Perolini, and Apollo Perolini is hunted by 3 Castleford defenders, and eventually he's hauled to ground. Cunningham dummy half. Hammond turns the ball back on the inside. Good tackle though on Alan Hunt. Down the international goes. Cunningham at dummy half. Long will hoist the bomb, and it's all on, says referee John Connolly. The ball bounces back, and it's Castleford who have it in the shape of Jason Liddon.
Chances was there. It came off a St Helens player. It was all on. It was good refereeing by John Connolly. All the Saints players were behind and a little bit high and offside. Well, he's certainly stamping his authority early in this match, John Connolly. Wants to get an open game, and you could see he had quite a few to choose from. Hammond was quick off the mark, so was Apollo Perolini, and also the hooker Kieran Cunningham.
So penalty to Castleford to relieve the pressure, and Mike Ford is the man who finds touch with that. Well, they lost 10 in a row at the start of the year, but then Stuart Raper arrived, the magic wand was waved, and here they are in the Premiership semi-final, just, well, less than 80 minutes now away from what an end to the season it would be. Here come Castleford again. This is Jason Flowers, the full-back, who's chimed into the line. He loves to do that, the young 22-year-old.
St Helens have got to sort this defence out. There's only a couple going straight in early. There's quite a few of them hanging back, anticipating what's going to go.
That's a lovely kick. That was a beautiful kick from Tutor. It stood up in the in-goal area, and Danny Arnold just have to shuttle the ball dead.
Well, the loose forward, Brendan Tudor, kicked that football at the base of the ball. See how it spins backwards? And that makes it just stand dead in the in-goal area. Good positioning, though, by Danny Arnold. He'll have plenty to do tonight.
It's Arnold's 8th in a row at full-back. The dropout reaches Davis on the halfway line, and he then hands it on to the big Australian Andrew Schick to run the ball back. Schick and Liddon and Tutor, they really have been the mainspring of the Castleford Tigers as they have clawed their way to safety in the Super League. That's Richard McKell. Carl Hammond's all over him. And now Nathan Sykes. Good tackling though on that occasion from Derek McPhee and Kieran Cunningham. Richard Russell at dummy half. He's been to Old Trafford a few times. Davis, oh, collision there between Alan Hunt and Adrian Vowles. But again, Castleford attacking that left-hand touchline. This is Chris Smith. Elusive runner is Smith. Saints can't put a hand on him, and supporters getting a little bit frustrated by the lack of defence over on that far side. Now then, Ford will hoist the kick. Critchley called for it, and Critchley missed it. The ball bounced off the legs of Sullivan, but the referee says that Sullivan didn't make a play for it, so it's the turnover.
Accidentally it bounced off the ground and it hit Sullivan's knee. That's the reason why the referee John Connolly said it was the changeover. Castleford player down in the background, looks like Richard Russell.
Russell back in the defensive line now. A man who's aiming for his 5th visit to Old Trafford in both the big competition and the divisional Premiership final.
Good defence though by Castleford. They are moving up quickly. They're not allowing St Helens to get into the swing of things. This is the danger man though.
And they have been penalised for offside, Critchley, but Tutor could easily have been penalised for a swinging arm.
First contact on the shoulder, and he went for a second bite at it. And you can see there that there was a couple just a step in front of the official.
Julian O'Neill has returned to the St Helens side. Been a real servant in this season that has been decimated by injury. Chris Joint, captain. on the second tackle. Now it's with Long. Here's Newlove, such a destructive runner. And a good tackle from Mike Ford, it had to be. Newlove played the ball and is able to pick it up because the referee's wiped the tackle count clean.
Good work by Mike Ford. He reefed that ball clear but couldn't get at it.
Here's Long. Long then to Hammond. Hammond then to Hunt. He's immediately clattered, but he gets the ball away again to Hammond. Ball then back to Stewart. Stewart, one of the apprentice professionals here at Nosey Road. And it's Nathan Sykes who got the tackle in. Now O'Neill again for Saints into the 10-metre zone. 10 minutes of this match gone. Saints looking to hit back with Long. Now with Joint. Joint loses it. And Flowers has picked up.
Good play by the fullback there, but the impact on Joint, he lost possession. And the fullback, Jason Flowers, ducked under the swinging arm. Oh, stupid play there by Newlove. And the touch judge rightly will come on. Now, what on earth went through his mind for this? That is just crazy. All that hard work, you apply the pressure, stupid play from the big centre, swinging arm, and gives away at least 30-40 metres. Well, we know we've got to play rough and tough in the game of rugby league, but we can do without that.
In fairness to Jason Critchley, he got up and immediately he and Newlove shook hands after that incident. And it's not really like Paul Newlove, we have to say.
Well, who was it then?
Penalty to Castleford. And now another 10 metres back for back-chatting the referee.
Well, they're losing their composure, and I'm sure that St Helens coach Sean McRae will be far from impressed. The message will be out very quickly. This guy in charge, John Connolly, is going to not mess around. He's told them to get back in the defensive, get back the full 10. He wants an open game, so do we, and he wants a clean one too.
4-2, Castleford ahead on the penalty count and 6-0 on the scoreboard as Nathan Sykes drives it in again. Well, remember what it was like in the semi-final here against London last year. It was an absolute classic that St Helens eventually won. And the way this match has started, I think we're in for a little bit more of the same. Lovely run from Flowers, who hit that ball at pace from deep. And Julian O'Neill getting a telling tackle in. This is a dangerous situation for Castleford. That's a beautiful ball. Fouls! Fouls over the line! What a beautiful ball out the backhand. Brendan Tooter it was. And Bowles with his 9th try of Super League 2. And look at the smile. Bowles thinks he's on his way to Old Trafford.
With play like that, who can deny them? It was a superb setup. The Kiwi, Brendan Tooter, look at the inside pass. And Bowles came in through the dummy. Fullback Danny Arnold couldn't stop him. This is exquisite football. Back on the inside. See how he just rolled Joint across with him. The gap opened up and Bowles, the big centre, watch for the inside pass. See how Joint comes with him. McVie couldn't do anything. He threw the dummy. Jason Liddon on the inside, but the strength of that man was all it took. Second try, Castleford.
Well, tremendous late season burst from Adrian Bowles. 9 tries, 3 in his last 3 though, for the big Australian centre. Ever present for North Queensland in 1996. So a man from the first grade in Australia and making his mark now in Europe. Davis, and he's pushed that kick the wrong side of the post. Now that is a criminal error, and that could be so costly at the end of this night.
Bad miss, but watch how Joint is sucked across and back on the inside. McVie was just a bit too slow, but the skills of Vowles with the step and his strength. Well, who would have thought it? St Helens, odds-on favourites before this game started. Look at the scoreline, 10-0.
14 minutes gone, McVie, but again, ferocious defence. Critchley, Tooter, and also Jason Liddon in there so quickly.
Well, this would really test the character now of St Helens. They've got to dig deep. The most important factor is not panic. Do not just keep this ball alive.
Referee has seen a high shot on Apollo Perolini. St Helens have a penalty.
The big prop
McKell it was.
Yeah, Richard McKell. Just a lazy arm coming across the face of the ball carrier, Perellini. Silly play there by the big forward. They had to been a good strong position down in their own quarter. Now it's Saint, and they're desperate, but I was just getting back to the point that they do not have to panic. If they do, they'll force the pass and bring about the mistake.
It's Hammond now, and Perellini back on the inside. Support arrives from Cunningham, and further support from Long. This now is Joint, dumps the ball back into the arms of O'Neill. Desperate defence needed by Mike Ford, and desperate defence it was, and Ford stumbled as he tried to get back in the... Davis it was, rather, tried to get back in the defensive line, and he just impeded the player. It was Ford. It was Ford, not Brad Davis.
Ford was trying desperately to get back into the line of defence and just pushed him off sufficient enough to perhaps give away a gift 2 points. Could be a blessing in disguise, though. They really were on the rack, Castleford. All came about by that silly play by the big prop forward, Richard McKell. Swinging arm allowed Saints to gain an extra valuable 40 metres forward. And this is the result that would put them on the board for the first time.
Stuart Raper, and that little tash that he's sporting there, apparently he began growing it when this Premiership run of the Tigers began, and he says he won't be taking to the razor until it's over. Long with the conversion of the penalty, and Saints 2, Castleford 10, so Saints get themselves on the board.
If that's the case, then maybe by Wembley next year Stuart Raper will have a beer. But it's nothing to do with superstition, that scoreline. 10-2, 2 superb tries. The build-up from Castleford on both occasions were quite outstanding.
So now Castleford in possession with Andrew Schick. A try against Halifax 2 weeks ago. Part of that three-man Antipodean back row that Stuart Raper employs. This, though, is Richard Gay. Made his name as a fullback, currently at Weldon Road, making his name on the wing, though he's moved infield now and is hunting for a little bit more work. This is Nathan Sykes for them, for Castleford.
Well, you could see the ease that the winger Richard Gay came in and out of would-be tacklers, and this, again, we see the first attempt. On this occasion, it was Newlove that got shoved away. Poor defence and the markers there.
But
good play.
Great work from Russell. This is the last tackle. Oh, bad ball from Ford, but it bounced kindly in the end for Schick. Oh, and that's a second rower's up and under. But it finds a Castleford jersey. It belonged to Critchley, and Critchley and Stewart are disputing it.
It'll be the turnover. Critchley finished up with it. At least they're trying to keep this ball alive. Not the best control. It all started badly, really, when Andrew Schick proved that he is a second rower and nothing else. It was a poor kick from him.
Oh, and Arnold sent the ball behind Anthony Sullivan, and he's found touch.
Well, I mentioned the fact that the one thing they could not do, or should not do, is to force the pass. It was on, though. There was a gap there. Arnold realised that there was space out wide, but it was not the best pass. So yet another mistake from St. Helens. It's proving costly to them.
It's head at the scrum to Castleford, and Tutor from the back of the scrum peels away. Newlove and his captain Joint get to him, though. Davis to Mike Ford. Ford then to Andrew Schick, and Schick, the ball bounces off his chest, and Sullivan grabs the pieces gratefully.
It was a perfect pass. He should have taken that, the big second rower. Chance was there as well. Again, the Saints defence is not solid. There's still a few out there who are extremely hesitant at moving forward as one line, as a unit.
This is Hammond. Hammond then gets the pass away, but that was a terrific tackle. And McVie felt that. And Gay
not standing square at the play of the ball. You could see that Gay was stood about a metre to one side. There it is. He must stand directly in front of the man playing the football. So mistakes also creeping into the Castleford play.
Perellini. Nowhere for him to go. Carl Hammond saying to the referee that Perellini wanted to get to his feet and they weren't allowing him. This is Leatham. Leave them hauled down by Nathan Sykes. Cunningham is the dummy half. This now Long. Here's Hammond. Long again. Long to Joint.
Well spotted there, though. Liddon and Tuta knew it was coming through. And I must say, we've still yet to see a scampering run from the hooker, Kieran Cunningham.
Newlove, that's a scampering run. Getting the Saints to within 12 metres of the Castleford line. Now McVie. McVie inside the 10-metre mark. Sullivan to Long. Crossfield kick. Hunt is after this. Well claimed by Chris Smith.
Casual take there by the winger. Superb take. Swinging arm. I'm not so sure that Anthony Stewart enjoyed that. That really was a little bit of lack of concentration after such a good take by Chris Smith. Could have given him a penalty away there.
First quarter of this match gone, and Castleford ahead by 10 points to 2. Downstairs to Bill.
Thanks, Eddie. Steve-O mentioned the absence of Kieran Cunningham to any great effect. Well, there is a rumour going round Knowsley Road, there was before the kick-off, that Kieran Cunningham is in need of a hernia operation. Now, had the Saints gone out in the game against Salford last week, he would have gone straight into hospital for a keyhole hernia operation. If they go out tonight, that is the plan. That is the rumour going round, and it would keep him out for 10 days to 3 weeks.
It would obviously affect his chances of making it in the World Club Championship quarter-final, but would it also affect his Great Britain chances? Joint is penalised for interference at the play of the ball meanwhile. And talking of the Great Britain chances, get along to Wembley and support Great Britain against the Aussies. Saturday, November the 1st, we're on air at 1:30, and the game itself will start at 2:30. So Wembley Stadium, Great Britain, Australia, that's the place to be on November the 1st for any self-respecting rugby league fan in this country. The start of the Test series. Ball out wide, good tackle from Hunt. Referee has got Castleford for the knock-on, even though the ball finished up behind the player. Davis picked it up.
Well, I don't know where they got the knock-on from, unless it's head and feed to Castleford.
It isn't, it's the Saints.
Well, a bad mistake there. You could see the ball definitely went back. It was a tremendous ball and all crunch tackle from Hunt.
Well, that should have been play on.
That on a knock-on as deemed to have come off Alan Hunt. Well, Lady Luck shines on Saints. They need it at the moment.
Long is busy, and he managed to get that pass away. And Stewart somehow picked it up off his bootlaces. Here's Cunningham, hasn't had a run yet from dummy half. 22.5 minutes gone in this match, and Apollo Perolini is brought crashing down to earth. Cunningham again he offloads. This now is O'Neill.
Well, normally a coach could perhaps put in a substitute halfback or someone to take that role, but of course St Helens have taken the gamble. All the subs tonight are forwards, so really no speed on this bench.
That's true, but Paul Anderson has played hooker in the past. They could bring him on if needed. Smith taking on Perolini, bouncing off him and Hunt, and Perolini a second time. What a brave, and look at him, what a brave little winger this Chris Smith is.
Tremendous work by Chris Smith, but awful defence by the Saints. No good trying to go around and just belt that lad's head off. They've got to get his legs, do the tackle, do the work. You're not out there to prove how tough you are. You're out there to prove you're the best in the world.
Castleford 7 clean breaks to just the 1 of St Helens. That's why Castleford are ahead 10-2 on the scoreboard, and why they're in possession at the moment with Mike Ford back to Tuta. Tuta gets the ball away, but into the arms of Sullivan.
Good work from the wingman there. They could see that Tuta was turning in the tackle.
This is Leatham.
He was up to it, this Sullivan. He read it so well.
Long to Hammond. Hammond hangs on, wrestled to the ground by Schick. Arnold. Hunt, back then to Long. He releases the ball to Stewart. 18-year-old Anthony Stewart. Great try last week against the Salford Reds. Perolini.
Well, we talk about the problem to Kieran Cunningham. That means that Sean Long, the halfback, has to go in there. But there's a run.
Another telling statistic that St Helens have come up with 8 missed tackles. Schick didn't miss that tackle. What's more, it was on the last, so it's the turnover. Kieran Cunningham was caught in possession.
Well, what a time to take your first run from dummy half at a moment when really Saints could have been better served by the kick. Just lost their way a little bit there. The handover, not an impressive reaction from the coach, Sean McRae. He knows they are well and truly in a game here.
Well, they were a little bit wary of the fact that Castleford were the visitors to Knowsley Road tonight. Wary of the fact that they've beaten Halifax and Bradford to get here. So obviously they are in top form, despite the fact that they finished 10th in the Super League table.
Problems for the big second rower. Apollo Perolini is just jogging back onside. He caught a big knock.
Critchley, how about that? Through the legs to Gay. They're playing with such confidence, Castleford. Gay's kick was a nothing kick straight down the throat of Danny Arnold.
Super positioning there by Danny Arnold. Only played 8 times for Saints this season in that position, but he certainly read that well. There's a little pass. Watch Critchley through the legs. Superb stuff. They are playing dynamite rugby league football, are the Castleford Tigers.
Here's Cunningham. I think Mike Ford could have been pinged for offside by the referee, John Connolly. Here's Long.
Well, just saying that Sean Long is a key figure now. He's got to go into the dummy half, take a bit of responsibility off Kieran Cunningham if he's carrying an injury.
McVie over the shoulder to Joint. He keeps the movement going to O'Neill. O'Neill will drive it down the middle. McKell gets to him, as does Richard Russell. Cunningham, Long, shape for the kick, gave it to Hunt instead. Hunt then out wide to Perolini. Perolini fully recovered from the bang, and he almost got over the line. But he went for the double movement, says referee John Connolly, and Castleford have the penalty.
Definite movement as well. You see Perolini, ball carrying arm, hit the ground, therefore the tackle is complete. Spotted by the official, but a good run though from Perolini. He just caught a stray knock a few moments earlier, but little doubt, and the replay will show it quite clearly, ball carrying arm hits the deck. You cannot make a second movement, and that is the reason why Castleford sigh a big relief sigh.
So the Tigers back in possession. Adrian Vowles. No, it was Jason Liddon, I beg your pardon. This now is Nathan Sykes.
Bit of a high one there from Carl Hammond. Sykes felt it too. Getting a little bit warm out there. Of course, it's a lot at stake.
Well, big showpiece end to the season at Old Trafford next week, one of the glamour fixtures. Here's Tuta, love to get there. Davis, out wide it goes to Richard Gay. There's space for Gay, cuts inside Sullivan. What a great run from Gay, and Sullivan came back with new love to bring him down. Critchley's the man at dummy half. This is Davis. Davis stabs it in the in goal. Too deep.
Far too strong. Option was good though by Davis. Got plenty of speed, but what great play by Brendan Tuta. Long ball out wide, and Gay did well. A step on the inside. Full credit though to Sullivan. He came back for the second challenge. And it's desperation defence is keeping Castleford out. It's the front line of defence that's a big problem. They're allowing Castleford too many breaks.
First change for Castleford. Ian Tonks comes on. Remember, the prize is the Premiership final, and you'll be able to see it next Sunday at 6:30 on Sky Sports 1.
Knock on from McVie.
Sorry,
there.
Sky Sports 3.
Another bad mistake. Well, there's little doubt that the words of wisdom from Sean McRae, the Saints coach, not that man Stuart Raper, he'll be quite happy with it, especially with the fact that St Helens yet again has spilled the football. But there's little doubt for mine that Sean McRae will be saying to his side, be a little bit more composed.
There's a good run from Vowles, and Chris Smith just couldn't take the pass in.
Well, they're splitting them all the time, isn't he, Vowles? Chris Smith should have taken that. 3 attempts at it.
He's on the phone, Sean McRae, and he's talking to the bench on this side of the field, and he said, let's get Ian Pickervance on and get Derek McVie off. let's make a change. So McVie comes to the bench and Ian Pickavance comes on.
Well, McVie is such an impact player, but he's yet to prove that in this match, and that's the reason why Sean McRae is bringing the changes. He knows that this guy will work 100%.
Well, Derek McVie, who says that this is his last season at Knowsley Road after 2 with the former champions. Half an hour gone. Castleford with 1 foot in the main entrance at Old Trafford, but a long, long way to go yet. Sean Long. Newlow.
Again, they're finding it very difficult to get through this strong Castleford defence.
Cunningham drifts the kick over the top, inviting Hunt to have a run. Smith is there, and Smith's content to let the ball run dead, and Hunt give him a shove in the back, and Alan Hunt and Chris Smith squaring up to each other.
Well, there's a volatile little winger, Chris Smith, that is for sure. There was no point in Hunt giving that little shove. Silly play again. You could see that the ball had gone there. That was really stupidity from Alan Hunt. Shouldn't retaliate in such a manner though, Chris Smith. You can see that frustration is coming into the St Helens play. Not a sensible thing to do. As I mentioned before, Chris Smith is rather volatile. And Alan Hunt can be that way at times.
Well, he was involved, was Chris Smith, in the incident that saw Matt Callan sent from the field in the quarter-final at Odsal last weekend. That's, I think, is why Mr. Smith is sporting a rather nice shiner, if nice be the right word to use.
Well, that wooden gate over there nearly brought up the compliments of a pair.
This is Liddon. Wrestled to the ground, 40 metres from his own line. Russell to Ford. Scampering little run from Ford to the halfway line.
Again, you can see that the defence was just hanging back.
Davis with the kick over the top. Doesn't find touch though, didn't want to. Wants to try and force the error now from Danny Arnold.
Good kick and chase. It's been a highlight from Castleford in this first half. The ability to move up forward, force St Helens into virtually one-out football so far. Been a long time since we've seen a clean break from the Saints.
Pickavance gets the ball away to Hunt and out wide. It's the winger Stewart. Oh, what a great tackle. Jason Flowers with a fabulous tackle. And Stewart thought he was on his way to his second St Helens try. Not this week.
Good run by the youngster Stewart, but equal to the task was a fullback, Jason Flowers. Outstanding rugby league football. Eyes on the target, straight round the ankles. Just like every fullback should do. Gave him the chance to go outside. Bang! Head behind. Everything was done to perfection.
Well, he's highly underrated, is Jason Flowers, but he is very highly rated by Stuart Raper at Castleford. And that tackle proved why. Ford disappears under the challenge from Pickavance and Hammond. Russell to Flowers again. Now Tutor. Pickavance gets to him. Well, this is the semi-final, of course, of the Premiership, and there's a big match taking place 12,000 miles away in the morning. The Aussie Super League Grand Final. Brisbane take on Cronulla, and you can see it with us, Sky Sports 1 from 10, with the repeat at 9 on Sky Sports 3.
Well, I don't know what was the reason behind that. The second rower, Andrew Schick, found himself in the kicking position. We saw his effort early in this first half, went nowhere, and that was straight down the throat of a St Helens player.
This is St Helens on the attack again with Hammond. By the way, talking of that grand final, Stuart Raper, formerly with Cronulla, he's been on the phone down under this week, talked to the Cronulla coach John Lang, and they both wished each other well for the big matches they have this weekend. It's going according to the script for Castleford at the moment. I wonder whether Cronulla can come up with as big a surprise in the morning. New Love flicks the ball up. It's pinched.
Good work by Critchley there. It was Flowers that came up with it eventually. But great work by Critchley there, anticipating the pass from New Love. And a little bit touchy again. It's angry stuff out there. Saints are frustrated, but it's all coming about by the fact that Castleford and interference at the play the ball. Perellini going over the top.
Referee wants Chris Joint and wants a word, because I think he's seen enough of this.
Richard McKell had no chance of playing the football. The first official warning to the captain of St Helens.
To you guys, Chris, I'll word with them. I've had a word with you guys. You don't want to listen to me. Next job's mine.
So I think the warning is there. The next time there will be a yellow card brandished. Chris Joint was saying, though, there's a lot of lying on going on in the tackle as well.
Little doubt that he had to give a penalty for that one. Big prop forward McKell, with no opportunity. Well, it's all going Castleford's way because of the fact that St Helens are losing their cool. This is not the way to get back into a game of rugby league football. Skills will get you there, losing your temper won't.
3 more penalties for Castleford than St Helens have had. Davis pops the ball back up. It's Schick. He looks over the shoulder, was looking for Russell, took the tackle in the end. Now Mike Ford. Mike Ford skipping his way through. He's got support. It's arrived from Flowers.
Having the time of his life is little Mike Ford.
They're on the roll with Davis out wide to Gay. Skates for Gay. I think that's in touch. It might go on to the video ref to make the decision. Gay thinks he's scored, and it is going to be a decision for tonight's video ref to decide whether this is grounded or not.
Keep your eye on the flag.
Make sure they went dead.
Yeah. His right arm, it's the whitewash a second before the ball's down. Impossible to see it at normal speed, but there you see it there.
Well done,
Split
Jim.
second. That's the reason why we have it. This is going to be NO try. But what a great effort anyway.
Well, he was home, he thought, but he's not hosed. He celebrated until he saw the replay on the big screen here at Knowsley Road. And so it's a 20-metre place kick for the defence, which is St Helens, of course. Oh, they've lost it on the first tackle. O'Neill spilled the ball. Here comes Castleford again with Flowers.
What an awful mistake there. He had the let off. It was definitely no try. Video screen shows you that. And now they've given themselves a chance, Castleford. Just a simple tackle. He just lost control.
Russell is there. And Russell was just ankle tapped by Andy Leatham. Mike Ford is the dummy half. Hammond got a hand in on that at the play the ball, and the referee's given a knock on. But head and feed to Castleford.
Well, it's deemed that Hammond has touched the football, but I think you'll find that he actually just reefs the hand of Ford. But he's given it that, there, you see it was on the arm, but he's
actually now given a penalty.
Well, don't tell me lack of composure.
Chatting.
Done it again.
Chatting.
Well, that is not going to help the cause. I mentioned it just a few moments earlier, that skill will get you back into the game. Not lack of composure, and again. Well, Sean McRae, we saw in the dressing room before the game kicked off how composed both sets of players were. I'm not so sure it'll be that composed at half-time. Words of wisdom, and powerful words of wisdom, are needed.
Well, here's Brad Davis. He missed with a simple attempt from one of the tries. Hasn't missed with that, though. It's 12-2. And St Helens, you feel, are up against it, but Stuart Raper, I think he believes he's 40 minutes or thereabouts away from a famous victory.
Keep stroking that little moustache. I say little.
He's got more hair on his top lip than some people I know on their head.
Amazing. As if I didn't expect something like that. Probably grows a lot faster too.
Isn't life cruel? A minute to go to half-time. And Castleford in the driving seat. No doubt about that.
Tremendous. They really have power played St Helens out of this match. Their defence has been superb.
Incredible when you consider that St Helens under Sean McRae, they've lost it again. I'll come back to that point because this now is Tutor. Under Sean McRae, St Helens have lost only 1 of 13 cup ties. Now, there was a use of an elbow by Brendan Tutor and he's conceded a penalty.
Oh, silly play there. We know he's an adventurous and rough, tough player, Brendan Tutor, but in a position like that. But it was awful play. The dummy runner, I think it was Sean Long that was going to be the dummy runner. The ball should have gone behind him. It actually hit his chest.
Hammond hoists the midfield bomb out of desperation and went for it, and Flowers has picked it up. Oh, and a timely ankle tap from Leatham because Flowers was away and the defence was not set.
Will it be a kick? There's barely seconds remaining, or will they just settle it? Looks like McKell's going to settle it down.
That's the half-time siren. Sean McRae disappears to get into the dressing room to greet his players because he will not be impressed by the opening 40 minutes that yielded just the one Sean Long goal. But my word, Castleford's coach Stuart Raper, he will be delighted because his team have taken the game to the Saints, and Stuart Raper will deliver the easier team talk you feel in the dressing sheds at half-time. Davis and Vowles with a try, Davis with 2 goals. Castleford are ahead by 12 points to 2, and they are now just 40 minutes away from a place in the Premiership final.
Esso launched Price Watch. We promised that wherever and whenever you saw the Price Watch sign, the price of our fuels would usually be among the lowest in your neighborhood. How? By checking over 14,000 of our competitors' prices every day and adjusting our own. That's why 1 million more people have switched to Esso. So it's no wonder Price Watch's popularity just keeps growing and growing and growing. Esso Price Watch. We keep watching, so you keep saving.
We will be happy to calculate your tax, but don't forget to return your completed forms within the next 2 weeks. So get your skates on.
Why worry about your diarrhea attack coming back? With just 1 dose of Imodium, you could stop diarrhea and get on with your day. Imodium.
You are unique. Even though you may be an identical twin, there is no one quite like you. Not even your identical twin. You may live in the same house as your neighbor, but you do not live in your neighbor's house. Always be yourself in your own home. If something pleases you, well, then it is right. Though you do not live in a tent, your home is your canvas. Express yourself freely upon it. Do not emulate the style and taste of others, for that is the road to self-delusion. Be true to yourself, and your shelves will be true to you, particularly if you use a spirit level.
Whatever you want to do to your home, Homebase can help you do it. There's no place like Homebase.
Adidas. Feel the energy.
Two huge Premiership games coming up this weekend. On Sunday, star-studded Chelsea take on the equally star-studded Arsenal in what will prove to be a classic London derby. And on Monday, Stan Collymore returns to Anfield with his new club Aston Villa as they take on Liverpool. Both games exclusively live right here on Sky Sports 1. Right now we are live here on Sky Sports 1 with the Super League Premiership semi-final, and the Tigers ahead by 12 points to 2, and haven't they deserved that half-time situation they find themselves in? The tries from Davis and Vowles, and it's Stuart Raper, who I ventured to suggest right on the stroke of half-time, who would be delivering the easier of the two half-time talks. Sean McRae, I think, well, it looks cool, calm and collected, but I doubt if it will be. John Keir, the coach of Sheffield Eagles. The other surprise packages in this semi-final lineup. Sheffield Eagles is here with us today, and as you can tell from that little smile, he's a Castleford lad. And you're enjoying this?
I certainly am. I think they're playing superb rugby league football. I mean, they're controlling the ball, the kicking game's excellent, and they really are putting St Helens under immense pressure, especially in their own quarter. I mean, it's just big raps to the Cast players. They're keeping the ball alive. It's exciting stuff, and all the speckers at the side of us here, the Cast spectators, they're absolutely loving it.
Well, a lot of people are a little concerned that the Castleford Tigers might get there. They won't take anybody, but if they get there, they face either the winners of Wigan or Sheffield Eagles, who play in another Premiership semi-final on Sunday at 6:30. As I say, John, there's a little bit concerned that maybe they won't take anybody with them to Old Trafford if Castleford get there, but by the looks of this lot, they'll take 10,000.
Yeah, believe you me, there's a lot of support for the team in the town, and it's really buzzing at the minute. I mean, this Premiership competition, it's had a lot of critics, but I'll tell you what, at both Sheffield and at Castleford, it's kept the season alive and it's kept the players buzzing. The players are loving it and the spectators are loving it and the town's loving it. There'll be a lot of Castleford people who'll go to Old Trafford if they manage to maintain this form for the next 40 minutes.
Well, they are just, 40 minutes away from the final in Manchester next week, and so that means, Steve-O, they've got 1 foot inside the entrance door. What about a Castleford-Sheffield final?
It's always on the cards. I mean, if they play like they are doing tonight, Sheffield, anything can happen. And Wigan are not invincible. We've seen that this season. But full credit, though, to Castleford. I think that St Helens anticipated a real hard slog amongst the forwards. But the tactics that Stuart Raper put on straight away was get the ball out wide. And they are just playing champagne football. This was a break from Schick. Look how he went up back on the inside. Support play. Davis was there again. And Davis on hand to go back on the inside. The biggest problem for Saints, of course, is their defence. This is the Vowles try, but watch how Tutig runs across. Just hold it there, and you can see how Joint is pulled in. Look how they come back on the inside, and there is McVie. He should have filled in a little bit quicker. He didn't. And back on the inside, he had the strength, he had support too. Tremendous stuff. Big problems though. This was one of the very rare breaks. This was Stewart, but what a tremendous tackle by the fullback Flowers. Head behind, everything was just correct, wasn't it? One of the very few breaks that St Helens, Perellini went close, but other than that, they've had nothing. And this was a lucky escape in many ways. Mike Ford is having a tremendous match. He really is controlling things out there. This is the reason why we have the slow motion and the video screen, is that you could see that the right arm definitely touched the whitewash before he got the ball down. And I think that if they would have scored that try, I think St Helens would have been gone. And I think they've been given a lifeline with the fact that they still are in this game, providing Sean McRae can sort them out. They've got to get their composure back. They have got to get back into the swing of things. But the biggest problem they're having is that this terrier-like defence from the Castleford Tigers is so good. They're forcing St Helens into virtually one-out football all the time.
Well, it's a familiar story, really, isn't it? We have been talking like this every time. It seems to me that we have come to Nosey Road this year. John, it's been a struggle for St Helens. First of all, to defend the Super League crown, and now to get through to the final at Old Trafford.
Yes, they are having a struggle. I think Sean McRae will have a fair few things to put right at half-time. One being the control of the football in their own 30-40 metre zone. I mean, Castleford are really in the face, which is the modern terminology they're using, but they're really in the face amongst the Saints players. Saints are trying to throw out some impossible balls, or they're coughing it up under pressure, And the other big thing is the discipline aspect. I don't know what the penalty count is, but I believe that it'll be much greater in Castleford's favour than for St Helens. So
it's 9-6 to Castleford.
Well, really, they must cut down on the penalties because it's just cheap yards that they're giving away, and they've got to look after the football much, much better in this second half.
So who's going to win, and who's going to win the Man of the Match award? You have your say about that. I'll ask you to ring that number with about 20 minutes to go, and you could win a video games console, the same as the Man of the Match himself takes home, if you name the Man of the Match correctly, and then your name is first out of the hat. So plenty to keep you enthralled, I hope, here at Knowsley Road. It has certainly got us on the edge of our seats. And who's for Old Trafford in 40 minutes' time? At the moment, the underdogs look like making it all the way to the Premiership final. Saints against Tigers. We have the second half coming up next.
October on Sky.
Featuring 4 mega movies.
Call the president. Tell him how much fun we're having. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Come and get me. Sudden death. Can't hide from them. I'm not crazy.
Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, 12 Monkeys.
Seek my treasure, have you? Open fire! Gina Davis. We set sail for Cutthroat Island.
We have a situation here. Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Money Train.
In sport, England clash with Italy. On Sky Sports 1, Luis V. Gallotta heads a huge night of boxing. And on Sky Box Office, the pay-per-view event features Collins v. Calzaghe and The Prince. New British drama.
Oh, 90 minutes of passion.
Dream Team.
Hi, everybody.
Brooke Shields in a brand new comedy.
Must be incredible, making a difference in people's lives.
The brand new series of ER.
Coming soon, rugby union hots up as England take on the might of the Southern Hemisphere. And John Travolta stars in Broken Arrow.
It's all happening on Sky.
From October.
Is it safe?
Is it safe? Is it safe?
Not safe. It's not safe. It's safe.
It's not safe.
It's not safe.
I read it wasn't safe.
It's too risky.
It's not safe.
What are you talking about?
Shopping on the internet.
Your son is shopping on the internet.
The internet? With his credit card. It's the future of commerce. I read about it.
It could be safe.
Well, how do you know?
IBM is making it safer to buy things over the web.
Did you ever laugh at Disneyland Paris? '97, the year to be here. It's our 5th anniversary, and every day is party day. Someone you know can't wait to go. Disneyland Paris. Call for your free brochure on 0990 030303.
Well, that's the car insurance done for another year. Hi. Most of my friends do a lot of ringing around to find cheaper car insurance. Well, I'll tell you what I tell them. The secret's not in making a lot of calls, but making the right calls. Make sure Admiral's on your list. So if you're ringing around, call Admiral now on 0800 600 800. Make sure Admiral's on your list. That's 0800 600 800.
Miramax Home Entertainment presents the winner of 9 Academy Awards, The English Patient. Own the video from the 22nd of September.
Scottish Widows was first set up in 1815 to look after the widows and orphans of the Napoleonic War. Coming through wars, recessions and stock market crashes, today they invest over £23 billion worldwide for the futures of millions of people. By looking after amounts large and small, Scottish Widows is looking good for your money.
Teams who've spent big and expect silverware this season come together on one live weekend on Sky.
Six of the best for Chelsea. But Ian Wright, he's going to excite. Dwight York.
A At Stamford Bridge, a London derby as Chelsea take on Arsenal. And on Merseyside, it's Liverpool against Aston Villa. Ford Super Sunday and Ford Monday Night Football, just part of this weekend's live football on Sky.
More Super League action to come this weekend. Saturday at 10 on Sky Sports 1. Our build-up begins to the 97 Grand Final, and Australia's best two go head-to-head. Brisbane take on Cronulla. And on Sunday at 6:30, it's the second Premiership semi-final. Wigan, the holders, face Sheffield Eagles. Sunday 6:30, Sky Sports 1. Right now, though, it's half-time here at Knowsley Road, and Castleford Tigers, who finished 10th in Super League, are giving Sean McRae St Helens a real run for their money. And has Sean McRae delivered the words of wisdom that will get his team back into this match, or will it be Sean McRae's opposite number, Stuart Raper's day? 40 minutes will tell us, and it's Castleford who will have first use of the football in this second half. Just worth remembering that in Sean McRae's reign here at Knowsley Road, just one defeat in 13 cup ties, and that at Old Trafford last year against Wigan. Other than that, they have an unblemished record. But they've got to get back into this game.
Swinging arm by Julian O'Neill. Not what the doctor ordered so early in the match. There's little doubt there that he made the impact. And Ian Tonks on the receiving end there.
Castleford have made a change. Haaland comes on for Tutor. Lee Haaland, 24-year-old, who lost a Premiership semi-final here with Leeds in 1993, and Haaland making his 60th appearance for Castleford tonight. And there he is.
Good running as well from the substitute Haaland. They really are powering on to this football.
This is Jason Lydon. And again, Castleford are camped 12 metres short of the Saints line. Russell gives it to McKell. McKell then to Ford. Ford to Davis. And Davis skips and scampers his way away from most of them, but not from the tackler Kieran Cunningham. Castleford looking for a start in this second half like they got to the match itself. This is the last tackle, their last opportunity in this set of 6. Davis hoists the kick. It's a good kick too. It bounces back off the post, and luckily for St Helens it bounced into the arms of Cunningham, but the Castleford players were queuing up and it bounced over their heads.
Well, they'd gone for the kick, they'd all gone past the mark, and there you see it. It was there for the taking. Jason Critchley was only inches away from that.
If it had fallen into his arms, he'd have fallen over the line and got 4 points. Penalty to Castleford. Incorrect play, the ball, is it?
Well, what a mistake to come so early in this match.
No, it's Chattin. It's Alan Hunt having a go
at the referee, saying that that should have been interference, and you can see he has not finished moving the lips. Well, we spoke about the composure in the first half. It was not there. We were hoping, or the St Helens fans were, that Sean McRae would have certainly got it inside the heads of his players. Obviously not.
Well, that really is no way to carry on. And what's more, it has given Brad Davis the opportunity to take 2 more points. Sean McRae will not be impressed with that. Got up, shouted his mouth off. Penalty to Castleford, and Davis misses. But he got the ball dead, so Castleford will get it back from the dropout on the 20-metre line. That's 2 misses for Davis. That was difficult. It was a good way out, but the one in the first half really should have been scored. Well, let's go downstairs. Bill has half-time news for us.
Well, the news from the St Helens dressing room, at least, is that, well, it wasn't a very happy dressing room. Assistant coach Mike Gregory has just told me that Sean McRae was not a happy man. A fair few expletives flying around that dressing room, but the message was they've got to sharpen up in all areas of the game, particularly their one-on-one defence, which was woeful in the first half. But really, he's looking for a transformation in the second half, and it really is going to take one.
That's the news from the St Helens dressing room then, and yes, it will take a transformation if Saints are to rescue this match. Might sound strange to say that with still over 35 minutes to go, but at the moment the Saints are playing second fiddle. Remember, St Helens finished third, Castleford finished 10th in Super League. The form book has been thrown upside down in this competition. It's a great kick from Ford, but well claimed by Anthony Sullivan.
Beautiful take there under a lot of pressure. You can see that Gay jumped higher. Sullivan came up with the football. Nice kick though from Mike Ford. We'll see plenty of those in the remaining minutes of the second half.
Pickavance. Look at the tackles. Castleford 128 so far, Saints 120, but crucially the Saints have missed 16.
Then again, Jason Liddon, the big second rower, moving up quickly. We mentioned the fact at half-time that Saints were being forced into playing one-out football, and that's what they're doing so far.
This is Cunningham. Crowd booing. They think that the referee could easily have blown for offside a couple of times then. Long's high kick, claimed by Flowers. Long, the man though, following it up. Good run from the scrum half.
Good kick and chase there. You can see Long, he's eager, but it was well taken confidently by Jason Flowers. That a fine game. So is this fella as well. Scorer of the first try, Davis. That's better from Long. He's leading the way. Let's hope that his colleagues can lift their game too. And as Bill mentioned on the sideline, it certainly will need something big.
Halifax beaten 23-18. Bradford 25-12 to get here. And Castleford scored 4 tries against the Bulls. Well, they've got a couple already tonight. They're looking for more now. This is Critchley. Critchley, they're flooding up in support. Ball back on the inside to Ford. Ford goes around one, and the defence eventually funnels back and gets to him. It was Danny Arnold. But Castleford here on the roll and on the attack with Davis. Long ball out wide to Bowles. Bowles dabs it through. The ball bounces. Schick. Easy try. Easy try for Schick. And Andrew Schick takes them further down the road to Old Trafford. A beautiful break from Critchley, and they swarmed up in support in attack, and Andrew Schick came up with the goods.
Schick may have scored the try, but it was a wonderful break created by Mike Ford. Beautiful pass out wide there. Critchley went through the would-be attempted tackle, kept his cool. Well, he's been around a while as Mike Ford. He's a veteran in rugby league, but he's playing like a 19-year-old tonight. Super stuff, long ball out wide. Fouls, he got the lucky bounce. It came off the winger, Stewart. And Schick, the man who made the break to create the first try in the first half for Castleford. He's on hand there. They get the lucky bounce, he picks it up. Superb stuff. The first 40 minutes, it was champagne football from Castleford. There was nothing fluky about their tries. Perhaps there was in that occasion. But they will take the 4, and what a dramatic 4 that could prove to be.
Yes, a try against Halifax 2 weeks ago for Andrew Schick. Well, Schick and Liddon and Tutor have played a massive part in the clawing run away from relegation, and so has this man, Brad Davis, who has found his kicking boots again after one attempt in this second half.
The link, getting the ball out wide. You can see that the defence is all at sea. They really didn't know what was happening. Neat little option there. They got the bounce, and Schick gleefully takes the 4. They're going to take some stopping now, are the Tigers.
Big Australian Andrew Schick, 27 years of age. Not a bad return, that. 2 in the last 4 for a second rower. That's a bad mistake, though. The kick-off from Davis sails out on the full. It's brought back to the halfway line, and a penalty now to Saints.
Rush of blood there by the standoff, Brad Davis. They wanted to get it deep, make sure that their defence was on song for it. Maybe that could be just the glimmer of hope that Saints needed. Well, they really need a big break.
They've made 2 changes. Will they be significant changes? Here's Long. Now Hammond goes up the middle. Hammond, what a run! What a try from Hammond! Magnificent try, and exactly what St Helens wanted. An immediate response to the Andrew Schick try. Excellent play from the St Helens standoff. Fantastic try, great strength, great pace.
He's been quiet throughout the game. He threw the dummy and went for it. It was a beautiful step off the left foot. He had the momentum to go over. No doubt there was no double movement. This was a big mistake by Brad Davis, and it has proved costly. I mentioned it was the glimmer of hope, perhaps, that they wanted. It was real skill. Great try by Hammond. They are back in this match.
And Carl Hammond is a man who scored a hat-trick against Castleford in the home win at Anfield in April. Long, left-footed, makes no mistake. 18 points to 8, though Castleford still lead, but Saints have offered themselves hope.
There you see they were very slow to squeeze in, Castleford. Lack of concentration just allowed that extra half metre for that man to go through. Struggled over in the end, but it was vital. Now they will go up a cock.
Well, St Helens now have half an hour to rescue this semi-final. And suddenly they're swarming in to the man carrying the football. Jason Flowers just has a little grin at them, though. At the moment, he's still on course for Old Trafford. But for how long? With tackling like this. Where was it for the past 50 minutes in this match? Stuart Raper now knows his men are in a battle. But with breaks like this, Davis, Richard Russell it was. Now it's Ford. Ford puts boot to ball. And he finds touch. That's a terrific kick from Ford, just to turn them round and slow things down.
The brains were ticking over time there. Mike Ford's experience coming to the fore. You could see that the winger and the fullback were out of position. He let it go into it. It was a wonderful run by the hooker, Richard Russell. Made a vital 30-metre run, and Ford said, let's get out of here. You could see him urging on the players, make sure your defence is solid.
And it is on that occasion by Davis on Sullivan with a bit of help from Flowers. The Flowers is up in the line, that means the full-back. Mike Ford just shuttled back briefly to act as sweeper.
He made a big impact as well, did Flowers. That was a big shoulder into Newlove.
Hunt to Pickavants.
There you see quite clearly how Castleford are moving up quickly out wide.
Here's Chris Joint. Up the middle goes Joint, high tackle.
Ian Tonks it was. He's the culprit. Joint took it fair and square on the face. Lack of composure again. It was Tonks that made the impact. He's a lucky boy. I've seen them walk for less than this. The swinging arm, there was plenty of intent there. Well, don't let's say that Castleford are going to throw it all away, all that good work thrown away by what Saints did in the first half. They lacked the composure. Now it's turned around.
Ian Tonks penalised, so St Helens will try and gain ground from this penalty. Long kicks it deep. Richard Russell goes off after that great run, and young Danny Orr comes on. What a test for Orr now. And that's Pickavants for Saints. They're within 12 metres of the line. Long to Hammond. Hammond gets the ball away to Morley. Out the back door it goes from Morley. And Danny Arnold is the man who retains possession for Saints.
Fullback did well to take that in under a lot of pressure.
Joint is fully fit and recovered from the bang. Cunningham dummy half. Hammond again. They swarm to meet them. Long to Arnold. Arnold's hauled down. Jason
Liddon. Was it high? Crowd thought so.
Referee didn't. It's play on. This is Perolini to Morley. And Morley is dumped to the ground. That's a great tackle.
He went the wrong option. He should have released the football.
Here's Hammond. Ball bouncing round and it's swept up. Offside.
Davis was in front of the man.
Well,
Hammond did well to get it away. You can see it came off Cunningham. It was Jason Liddon that went through. Is he there?
It's Perolini.
He's on his back, is he?
Held up over the line, scrummed down, but it will be head and feet again to St Helens.
Good work there by Perolini, but what tremendous defence. He tried and tried to twist in the tackle, but they did ever so well, did the Castleford defence. Turned him on his back.
Another big effort then coming in from St Helens, a big test of this defence. It's with Hammond, now it's with Alan Hunt. And Hunt showed it to Newlove and then took the tackle himself. That's the first one. Newlove on his own from dummy half. Paul Newlove has had some big games against Castleford in the past. It's Hunt. He's all wrapped up by Davis and forced back a metre or two as well. Back from whence they came after 3 tackles. Here's Joint, and Joint is dumped to the ground. That's 4 gone. Only 2 metres progress made. Long. Now they'll give it some width. Hammond. Short ball to Perolini. That's the last one.
Beautiful tackle by Andrew Schick. He went low on Perolini.
Here's Hammond. They're running it on the last. And Hammond pops the ball up to Pickavance. Pickavance to Morley. Morley going for glory, and Morley is caught in possession on the last tackle. That's the turnover.
He's given a penalty.
No, penalty for offside against Castleford in front of their own sticks. So again they spurn the opportunity of 2. They're going for 4. McVie. Newlove at dummy half. This is Joint. Joint for the line. Joint trying to squirm his way over. Just held up centimetres short. Well, how long can this Castleford defence stand firm? Newlove. Here's Long. Now Cunningham. He drops it. Chance goes begging. 5-star defence from the Tigers.
Superb tackling there. They really did get to the hooker. Schick over the top. Lost control. What a tremendous effort there. Danny Orr it was that went low. The pressure that was applied to the Castleford defence there was enormous. And the experienced Mike Ford, no rushing.
10 points the gap, and Castleford now will try and break from their own line. It was Flowers who was caught by Sean Long. But they are playing with some adventure, Castleford, despite the desperate situation and the fact that the prize is a big one. They're prepared to give the ball some air on every occasion and keep the ball alive, just as they are now. Here's Tonks, and again he keeps it going. That was little Danny Orr. Here's Andrew Schick over the halfway line.
Quick thinking by the second row there, run from the dummy half.
This is Smith. Again he keeps the movement going. They're keeping the ball alive. Was that a knock on? It was.
Ford thinks it went backwards. He was just about to say a few words to the official. Well, he certainly got his fingertips to it. It was a knock on. And I think perhaps that Ford was a little bit frustrated at the fact that he wanted to set up for the kick. Remember, it was only a few moments ago that Ford put in that beautiful long-range kick into the corner. He knows the value and importance of turning this Saints defence around.
Chris Smith just clutching his ribs on this near side as this attack from Saints builds on the other flank. Newlove gets to his feet. Here goes Arnold.
I just get the feeling that the big centre Paul Newlove is coming back into this match. He's the man that could break them back into it.
Perolini up the middle again. Great strength from the big Apollo Perolini, the huge figure from Western Samoa. Here's Pickavance. 22 metres from the Castleford line. Cunningham spins the ball in the arms of Long. Long to Hammond. Hammond then further wide to McVie. And McVie goes down. Straightens the line up.
Surely the kick now.
They're bringing it back this way. This is Long. And there's Arnold. Arnold to Morley. Morley out the back and straight into the arms of Chris Smith.
Panic football when they didn't need it. Good build-up though, Saints getting back into this game. Morley kept it alive. Chris Smith was equal to that task.
Crixley now.
Well, what excitement and what tension out there. Stamina will play its part.
Here's Richard Gay. The error count 9-6 against the Saints. Scoreboard 18-8 against the Saints. Castleford with just 21 minutes to hang out for a place at Old Trafford next Sunday against Wigan or Sheffield, who compete the other semi-final on Sunday. If it's half as good as this, we're in for a treat again.
Oh, tremendous tackle by the old stager Mike Ford there.
Sky Sports 3 for the Premiership final, Sunday 28th at 6:30. And the divisional final, we'll also show you that as well during our programme. Match is played on the Sunday afternoon at Old Trafford.
Being played at a ferocious pace now, and that's when the mistakes come.
Stuart Raper would love to be at Old Trafford next week. I'll tell you what, Steve-O, he would have to be a contender then for Coach of the Year.
Sure would.
But Chris Joynt has got other ideas. Joynt with a great run. What a tackle again from Flowers. A vital ankle tap. And Crixley being pulled all over the top by Hammond. It's the last tackle. There's Saints running it. Here's Long. Long will lose it. It looked for a moment he was going to stretch out the arm and score. McKell has picked up the loose ball for Cass.
How close can he go? Sean Long tried to keep it alive. Richard McKell, the prop forward, said, oh dearie me, what about the pressure I'm under here? It was bobbing around. He finally got to it in an end. But the breaks are coming now. The solid Castleford defence we saw in the first half is beginning to break up.
Castleford continue to make more clean breaks than St Helens. That's good defence from Pickavance. Collared his man, Chris Smith. Here's Ford again. He puts boot to ball. Mike Ford, plenty of experience. A man who was in the 1994 Premiership final side for Castleford, beaten by Wigan. He knows what it's like to get there and lose. He'd love to get there and win. Here's Anthony Stewart. Releases the ball to Cunningham. Cunningham flicks the pass and Hammond picks up the bits. Well, we're inside the last quarter. Now's the time to get dialing for your view on the man of the match. Cast your votes now. 0891 66 55 25. 0891 66 55 25.
Well, there's plenty to choose from out there. It really has been a classic. Saints a bit slow in the first half, but they're back into it now.
Here's Morley. Morley steps through one challenge from Schick, and Morley going for the corner. Another terrific tackle from Flowers. He's had a huge game in defence. This is Stewart. Stewart to Morley. Morley gets the try. Chris Morley began the move and he's finished it. Or has he? The referee wants to check that it was not a double movement by the Welsh international Chris Morley.
Momentum. Bounce. There it is. No movement of the arm. He kept his composure. Not one single movement by the right arm. And what a reward for Morley. It was Morley's break that got them into that position. Good work by Anthony Stewart. Tension all around this ground.
Here's the decision. Saints have a lifeline. And Stuart Raper knows now his men are in a battle in this last quarter. But Chris Morley, with the try, has offered St Helens a chance that looked like it would never come.
Fair play to him. It was Morley that got them in the situation. Back on the inside. Good work by Anthony Stewart, the winger. But he kept his composure, did Morley. There was no one there. You could see how Smith had come off the wing. He went for his opposite number, Anthony Stewart. There was always going to be a gap there. And that man, Morley, he found it. Short to start with, but momentum bounced him over.
Well, he's on the transfer list, Chris Morley. I wonder whether his valuation has just gone up. Long tried to sweep the ball over from the conversion on the touch, but he couldn't find the mark. But it's a converted try away now. 6 points is the gap. So St Helens, who score, restart. Steve-O, how are your nerves?
On edge, as I'm sure everyone's must be. What a game this guy's had, Jason Flowers. You mentioned that he's been superb in defence. He's done little wrong in attack. He's joined into the three quarters at nearly every opportunity. This is dig deep time from both sides. I'm sure that the next try will definitely seal this. Heads will go down when the next try is scored.
Well, I tell you what, if the next try is scored by St Helens, we're on the way to extra time. There will be extra time tonight if this match ends all square. Good kick. It's turned Arnold round. But Arnold sets off on one of those typical runs of his, and he makes 20 metres before he's clattered and hauled back a couple more.
How much is left in the tank? That's a big question.
16 minutes left.
Both coaches will be knowing that. Remember, Castleford have played an extra game from St Helens in these playoffs. He knows it. They've all been away from home, Castleford.
Yes, suddenly Stuart Rafer's mood on that bench, I think, has changed. These are desperate moments for his team. Long to McVie. Another one who says he's off at the end of this season, Derek McVie. Long, part of St Helens' future.
This is where they need to get a good quality kick in and make sure that the chase is good too.
Last one. The kick from Hammond goes straight up in the air. Flowers is coming out to meet it. Everyone misses it. Saints have it back. And Ford was all over the back of the man receiving the kick. But now it's with the young fullback, Jason Flowers.
Well, the crowd went up there. They thought that the Castleford man was offside, but he can't be offside until the man's being tackled. It was all over the park then.
Here's Andrew Schick again. Good tackle by Alan Hunt. Quarter of an hour to go. 6 points the gap. Castleford need to settle it down. St Helens, well, it'll be one of the great comebacks of the season for them if they win this. But Castleford have got ideas of their own. Lee Harlan plays the ball. Here's Davis. Now Mike Ford. Andrew Vowles out wide. And Gay just bounces away from the push and pull out there and sets off on a great run. Support arrives from Davis. Davis back on the inside looking for Orr. And Danny Orr has overrun it.
He cannot believe it, Brad Davis. It was superb play. Gay did so well to stop going over the whitewash. Kept it alive. Davis support. Danny Orr had try set in his mind. Went behind him. Crucial miss there.
Well, if it had gone the other way, Davis, Mike Ford would have been in. As it is, they're defending this run now from Perolini. What a game. Cunningham gets away from Vowles. Can't get away from the next two.
And what an effort by Kieran Cunningham. Remember, playing with a bad groin injury.
Long hoist the kick. Flowers comes for it again and misses it. And that's a knock on.
Oh, he can't believe it. The Castleford defence did everything right. The referee also. He said, give him chance to move in. And he made a meal. That could be the error that changes the complexion of this game.
Well, that we make it as Jason Flowers' first error of the night.
But what a time to come up with it 13 minutes from the end.
When his side are defending a place in the final. Here comes St Helens. No charity expected and none given. Tonks goes off for Castleford. Tutor returns. This now is joint. 10 metres from the line. Messing around at the play of the ball. Penalty to St Helens. Will they go for two?
I think they will. Chris Joint has pointed to the sticks.
Yes.
They're going to take the two. There's still plenty of time. It's a big decision by the loose forward, Chris Joint. I'm not so sure that I would have taken this 2 points. Castleford were well and truly on the backward foot, and I would have been hunting for the try and a possible 6 rather than the 2.
Well, they're going to get the 2 and then go for the 4 and 6. And Long gets the 2. They're inching back. They're getting closer and closer. Hold the phone. Sean McRae's on it again.
Well, the second half, it is good to talk. He knows that they are revitalised. They've come back into this match. Sean Long has played his part in the second half, along with the skipper, Chris Joint. It's been a wonderful captain's effort so far.
12-2 to Castleford half-time. 18-2, 6 minutes into the second half. Saints look dead and buried, but they've come back with 2 tries. And now they are just 4 points away. The thing with taking that penalty is they just need a try and then the conversion, and suddenly Saints will fancy Old Trafford. And there's plenty of time left. Just over 11 minutes to go, but it's Castleford who are on the attack. Danny Orr.
Good run from dummy half there by Orr, the substitute.
Ford gets the ball away, but Critchley was watched by a hawk, and the hawk was Joint with a bit of help from Newlove and Pickavance. Again, Mike Ford with that steadying influence just dabs the ball into touch.
Realised the importance to make sure that it did go over the line there. Eats up the clock. It's quite obvious in the mind of Mike Ford that he said to himself, we'll hang on to the 4. We'll take anything going, of course. But it is St Helens that will have to play the catch-up football. As time ticks away, they've got to become more adventurous as they run out of time.
This is Morley.
What an impact he's had.
Yes, he came on the field and they almost immediately scored their first try of this second half, and then Morley himself has scored the second. Joint, 30 metres from his own line, plays it to Cunningham. This now Pickavance. Don't forget those man of the match votes. 0891 66 55 25. McVie, he had Newlove just outside him, held on, took the tackle.
Newlove were just in front. McVie realised that it would have been a forward pass. It's a good kick.
It's a great kick. Oh, but how about that? Well claimed by Chris Smith, and Chris Smith is off. Great run from Smith.
What a tremendous take under pressure. Anthony Stewart in his face. But not only that, he gains a valuable 35 metres upfield.
Lee Harlan now bounces off Hunt. Hunt comes back again, gets him on his back and rolls him over. We're inside the last 10. Great tackle, Perolini. Super tackle on young Danny Orr. 9 minutes to go. 4 points the difference. Tutor. Tackled by Pickavance. Danny Orr again. Here's Mike Ford. Long ball from Ford, and Davis puts it down. Saints have got it back.
They'll play the knock on, and that'll be the head and feed. Well, I'm not so sure that that was the best option to get the ball out wide. We've already seen the influence of Mike Ford using the kicking game on the last tackle. That was the 5th tackle. And it really should have been turning St Helens around. Bad mistake, knock on by Jason Critchley.
Long to Newlove. And Newlove, who so often has been the man who has carried the dagger into the heart of the Castleford side, been kept fairly quiet tonight, but there's still time. There's still time for him to come up with the vital play. This is Joint. Joint, who led them up the steps at Wembley to receive the trophy way back in May, would love to get back to Old Trafford. Pickavance. Hammond. Out wide it goes, McVie. He spins the ball out wide to Sullivan. Sullivan then to Long, and Sean Long will score! Sean Long behind the sticks. The fight back is complete. And this crowd, who were highly critical at half-time, suddenly think that they can start booking their coaches and getting their tickets for Old Trafford and the Premiership final. St Helens have come back and now lead.
Great work by Anthony Sullivan. He kept the ball alive. McVie got it out there. And you can see how Richard Gay was sucked in, and they failed to get across. Sean Long's speed proved to be the deciding factor. McVie offloads, but watch how Sullivan comes back on the inside. Keeps it alive. Schick couldn't do anything about it, neither could McHell. It says it all, the expression on that youngster's face. Sean Long, what a buy he has turned out to be for St Helens. He's turned it. The crowd have gone absolutely crazy here. They booed off the Saints at half-time. The very same people listen to them now.
Sean Long, who scored 2 tries last week against Salford, has kicked 3 goals and has scored a try here tonight, and from bang in front will put the Saints ahead. And that's for the first time St Helens hit the front. And we have got just over 6 minutes left for play. What an effort from Castleford.
4 defenders, they were sucked into Sullivan. They are running out of gas. I said the next team to score the try, the opposition's heads would go down, and I think that Castleford's chances have just been blown.
Well, we shall see. Certainly, St Helens have had a belief in themselves in this second half that was not there in the first 40 minutes. Booth has come on to shore up the defences, to defend this 2-point advantage for the last 5. And Bowles goes off for the veteran Graham Steadman. How many times in his career has Graham Steadman turned the course of history? He'll have to be quick if he is going to turn this time, because this could be the last 5 minutes of Graham Steadman's professional career.
A bad mistake by Haaland. Knock on, no one in front of him. Well, I was just about to say that Graham Steadman, is he playing his final 5 minutes of professional rugby league? Can he turn it around? Can he make it a wonderful farewell at Old Trafford?
Here's Booth. It was Steadman who got to him first, and Steadman who immediately gets back into the full-back role to defend this run from Joint. Chris Joint has the sniff of the Premiership final appearance.
He's had a tremendous second half as Joint.
Hammond, Pickavance.
You talk about a skipper's knock, it certainly has come from Chris Joint in the second half.
Cunningham from dummy half, and he's hauled down. Just 3 meters short of the line. Here's Long again. Long dabs it through. Offside, no, knock on. Knock on. They tried to charge the kick down, and the ball just spilled out of their hands.
Definitely got a hand to it too.
Liddon got to the ball, but
you'll see the kick, and I think it was Danny Orr's hand that reached out. It was, little doubt, it was a knock on. Nothing going right for Castleford, everything going okay for Saints.
And here's Newlove. Newlove gets there. That's the match. Newlove has won it for Saints. And suddenly Sean McRae starts thinking that he's on his way to Old Trafford and yet another final. And this remarkable record in cup football for Sean McRae goes on. Poor Stuart Raper, poor old Castleford, but what an effort they have produced. But Sean McRae is making sure he's got a couple of tickets for Old Trafford.
Inevitable the pressure finally gave. Keeping the ball alive, back on the inside. Hammond, new love's strength. They've kept him quiet for most of the game, but not on this occasion. You have to feel sorry for Castleford, but they will look at this loss. I'm afraid that they've brought upon their own downfall because of those silly mistakes. Remember Davis kicking directly dead in goal when they just scored the try. Remember the knock-on by Jason Critchley as well when they really needed a kick down into the corner.
Stuart Raper now is a disconsolate figure on that bench, as Sean Long will surely add 2 more points here. And that's it. St Helens are on their way to another final. And Paul Newlove's try, a remarkable record he has, a try in each of the last 5 against Castleford before tonight. Make that now tries in each of the last 6 against the Tigers.
Keeping the ball alive, you could see the fend was strong, and so were the legs, they were pumping. Determined run there by the big centre, Paul Newlove. He's had an indifferent season, but he has come up with the goods when they needed it. It looks like a sad farewell to the wonderful player Graham Steadman. It looked all so well, didn't it, when Schick scored that try early in the second half. Saints looked down and out, but full credit to them, they have bounced back.
There's Newlove with an interception, and that's the 5th try in the last half hour of this match, and Newlove has done it against them again. Another 2. It's not champagne for Stuart Raper. Unfortunately, it's just flat beer now, but for St Helens, it's champagne all the way to Old Trafford next Sunday and the Premiership final.
They had nothing to lose, little to gain. It was Brendan Tooter's pass out wide. And you could see, sorry, I apologise, it was not Brendan Tooter. Neither way, it was Newlove in for the try. It was Mike Ford out to Brendan Tooter. My apologies to Tooter either way. It makes no difference. Newlove gets the brace.
30 points to 18. It's a scoreline now that really does not reflect the effort that Castleford have put in for this. You have to feel sorry for them. It's been an heroic effort to get to this semi-final. And Sean Long just plonks the ball over the woodwork, and that will be it. 32 points to 18. We are now on the full-time siren, and St Helens are jubilant. St Helens are dancing. They're on their way to the final. Paul Newlove with 2 tries. How often has he been the man who has ruined Castleford's big day? But Sean Long has played his part as well. From the 49th minute, when they were 18-2 down, there was no stopping Saints. And Stuart Raper, well, he cuts a disconsolate figure as he makes his way across the pitch to the dressing room. But what an effort he has put in. And the Castleford fans stay on the terraces to salute their players, because they might have finished 10th in Super League, but when Raper arrived, it was played 10, lost 10, and so that really represents wonderful success. And to get to this semi-final was the icing on the cake. But it's only the semi-final. It's the Saints who go on to Old Trafford to meet the winners of Wigan and Sheffield Eagles. And the last time that we see Graham Steadman leaving a rugby league field, Steadman hangs up his boots at the end of this match. Castleford's season's over. Derek McVie's season continues for another week at least. And St Helens, having played second fiddle for 49 minutes, come out and win a place in the Premiership final. Incredible. Well, still to come tonight at 10 here on Sky Sports 1. It's the Sports Centre with all the day's news and weekend football previews. Over on Sky Sports 2, live golf from the US PGA Day 2 of the Texas Open. And on Sky Sports 3, wrestling action in WWF Raw. But here at Knowsley Road after the break, we will catch our breath and reflect a memorable semi-final. A semi-final in which Castleford have played their full part, but which has seen St Helens claim a place in the Premiership final for a record 9th time. We'll also name your man of the match.
This.
For your comfort and well-being, the Corsair enjoys a smooth new 12-valve engine and Lotus-engineered suspension. The new Corsair from Vauxhall.
You are unique. Even though you may be an identical twin, there is no one quite like you. Not even your identical twin. You may live in the same house as your neighbor, but you do not live in your neighbor's house. Always be yourself in your own home. If something pleases you, well, then it is right. Though you do not live in a tent, your home is your canvas. Express yourself freely upon it. Do not emulate the style and taste of others, for that is the road to self-delusion. Be true to yourself, and your shelves will be true to you. Particularly if you use a spirit level.
Whatever you want to do to your home, Homebase can help you do it. There's no place like Homebase.
Working together to bring you more.